did it square thing. I hope it stays. Where it shows all four of your faces, usually it only shows one person.
Okay. Because...
Usually I can see one of you the entire time we're going, so if anyone makes hand gestures, I have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you haven't started the stream, I'm going to drop out and jump right back in. I lost video on half of you. Okay.
Actually, they heard them. Yeah, there is audio. Everyone knows now they're Fish.
Wow, Fish.
Yes,
he can hear.
I actually can hear.
Fish just too good.
All right. I managed to do it without having to leave the call. So
We're all having a good time.
And you're all disappearing.
Nope, I'm back in.
Okay.
People's faces are disappearing.
I don't know. Is that a good thing? It sounds like a bad thing.
No, it's a bad thing.
Well, Hey, I forgot my title. One sec. As I find my name. That's really funny. Okay. Well, I was the guide, but my name tag's gone, so you're just going to have to believe me. So we are back for the finale of To Find the Cure to Ignorance. And this, our last and final chapter, is about revitalizing nature. But in this Inception-like mind-bending adventure, which nature are we revitalizing? Which world are we going to call home? So, with that, we have our lovely crew over here. So I'm going to go left to right. We got Sir Slekton.
Hello.
We have Jack. We have Herbert.
Hello.
And we have Eriyou.
Hello, how are you guys?
So when we left off, we may have just lost Sir Slekton, and he's back. But when we left off, the four of you were with Sissy, and Sissy had a new name change. So Sissy Takes No Shit Birmingham became Sissy... I told you I was going to ruin this. Sissy Gives a Shit After All Birmingham. You have Rutger probably no longer on the rise, Glower. And you two are staring at basically the spot where the coffin was. On the stage, it's just a holy mess all around you. And there are plenty of sirens that are just surrounding the building. But for the group of you, you are the only ones who are not running right now. As Sissy is center stage, and when we left off, she basically looked at Rutger and said, "You broke it. It's time to fix the mistakes that you set before us." My words are amazing tonight. So when you're hot, you're hot. So
it happens.
Okay. With your characters there, before you, we have the coffin last you guys saw had sunk into the ground. There was some kind of like mechanism that the walls folded down and folded into the ground. You have Rutger, who claims to be the Mr. Know-It-All of the coffin technology. But more importantly, you have Herbert. Now, Herbert, your memories have come back to you. Maybe it was in all the stress and the calamity, or maybe it's just because of the need of the situation. But you know that Dr. M. Rowe, and I believe he said he was your father, created this in an attempt to basically try to deal with your real-life malformities, which we described as your Popeye arms and Popeye legs, basically. Anchor arms and anchor legs. So you know that he actually created this. And you could only guess that he is not here right now, and Rutger says he made it, so Rutger probably did something with him, and you wouldn't be surprised if you're in there, maybe so is the doctor. So first question for you guys is, what do you want to do? I know, Eriyou, you mentioned you think there's a deeper world than this. Jack, This
I had
is the
a
world you
crushing
came from.
defeat.
Those cops outside, you probably know some of them. Sir Slekton, in your vision roles, you talked about how maybe your character will be very happy with the place you call home. I just don't know where that is yet. So who wants to start?
I guess perhaps mine is most relevant due to the fact that there are actively cops on the scene.
Yeah.
I don't have anything specific, but I feel like if the cops were to come in and, like, look at this room that's probably trashed, and we're, like, in the middle of it, we would probably get blamed for this.
Interesting. You being the only one who probably wouldn't get in trouble if that happened. Though you believe they probably believe you to be dead. So there is that problem. But with that notion, you do hear footsteps. You do hear doors being knocked down. So people are pushing through and getting into the building. But it is kind of like a hotel or a larger, smaller convention center. So you know you have at least a wall or two outside of this room from what you saw before when you broke the fire alarm. But all of you start hearing those noises. So basically as doors open, right, the sirens would get louder. And you know that whoever's on the outside is working their way in. Who knows how they feel about this coffin technology?
So Rutger and Sissy are up on the stage, you said?
Yeah.
Is there like a wall or anything like at the back of the stage or anything like that?
There are just curtains on the sides. There is a wall in the back. It had basically this assortment of like signs that were talking about the coffin technology, and Rutger, it basically looked like infomercial advertising that had pictures of Rutger claiming that this coffin technology was going to make the bad guys be in charge of the good guys because they're going to trap the good ones.
Right, well, with the memories coming back and everything, and seeing Rutger and seeing the signs and all that, I think I would basically charge at Rutger, grab him like by the shirt and just like run him back, slam him up against the wall. Where's my dad?
Sounds like an episode of Maury now.
Where's the security guard when we need him? Okay, you grab him. Sissy was pointing at him, was kind of in his face, but didn't have a hand on him. So you rush over. Now, Sir Slekton, you're the only one who could offer any resistance here. Do you care?
No.
Just making sure you still didn't have a hand on him in some way. All right, Herbert,
Or like-
no roll necessary. You take him to the back wall. You hold him. Is he off of his feet? Is he against that wall?
I think maybe slightly off, but he can still touch the ground.
Okay.
But against the back wall.
His feet do that little twinkle toe thing as they're trying to touch the ground on his tippy toes. A little bit of sweat on his brow is running down his face.
And I also probably still have blood on my mouth from everything, from biting all this stuff.
So, yeah, not a little bit. A lot of sweat starts pouring. And a definite look of panic is on his face. What? Who's your dad? I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't do anything. I made this thing. That's it.
He made this thing. What'd you do with him?
Oh, he like as in who? I made this thing. As he looks around sweating like he can't give it up, but no one's watching but your crew.
Dr. Rowe.
Oh yeah, that guy. The gig's up as Sissy kind of backs you up, walking up to the side of you, sticking that finger the space where that finger was in the direction of.
This sounds so bad.
Of Rutger.
Like,
as she realizes she needs to use her middle finger as her new pointer. And with that, Jack, you do see a couple people starting to walk into the room towards the back end. And these are people that, again, it's kind of like the 40s, maybe the 50s, something like that. But we have basically, they look more like the Untouchables, right? They have like suits, top hats coming in, but they're definitely the law. These are police officers or detectives or agents that are kind of slowly coming in with a gun up, kind of in their best Charlie's Angels poses as they're kind of surveying the inside. And you can hear more of a ruckus as those doors start opening, the three main doors into the room, as you can hear people basically being arrested outside this room. But Herbert, you get him against the wall. He's sweating. He's panicking. I put him in. It was so easy. All I had to do was just give him a little push. That's what he needed anyway. He wasn't for this world.
what?
Why didn't he come out?
Why didn't he come out? I don't know. He had that funny thing in his head, though. You know, that doodad? I didn't know how to use it anyway, so I just let him have it. Herbert, you remember that he's got this thing that's a lot like Cerebro. He's got this, like, headgear, Trodnet thing that's kind of fancy, metal helmet, if you will. And with it, it was kind of this tool he used to kind of manipulate these worlds. Now, do you have any strategies that might help you maybe have heard a certain thing or two, or, you know, any warnings your dad may have told you about this helmet? Don't play with this, son.
Best strategy I could think of would be mimicry.
Okay. And
That makes
give
sense.
that a roll, which is pretty funny because you could probably imagine that you've just mocked him, right? And I will throw this up. Okay. We got one success. Any tags that'll help.
I mean, I have the relationship tag with him, just like his genius type of thing, maybe picking up some of it as he talked about it or listened in on his conversations and whatnot.
Okay. And give it a roll. He had to be a genius to understand this technology. What was he even talking about? Don't mind me. I'm like, yes, I found my name tag. Ta-da! Oh, no. Ta-da! Okay, sorry. You know, the little things in life. I just wanted to be cool like you guys. Two
You
successes.
are cool, Pete.
What was that, Sal?
So you are cool, Pete. You're the coolest.
All right. Well, we're done for tonight. That's all I need.
No, I'm saying you want to be cool like us. I think you're the coolest.
I've been waiting
you know?
my whole life. Okay.
You're funny.
Herbert, what happens? You know, Cerebro helmet, him going in. My inclination is that that probably made your dad walk into this world and go mad or forget a lot of what was going on. Because suddenly he would have walked into a world and all he'd remember is like, oh, I'm God here. Like, it would be like he just, like the Big Bang happened. What happened before? I don't know. What kind of thought would come into your head? What would you remember from the stupid thing he said? Don't you ever put this helmet on. You could go crazy. Maybe he'd say you go blind. I don't know.
I think he was really concerned about what would happen if it was actually worn inside of it, and you were there like in a traumatic situation, like you weren't conscious. Maybe they knocked him out and just threw him in there, so he woke up not even realizing he had gone into it.
Yeah.
And
I imagine for a long period of time, you were kind of a test subject, but in the will of, he was trying to help you, right? It wasn't like you were the test subject because he was trying to hurt you or punish you. So he probably said that to you, and probably because he never really went in it for most of the time when you were little, kind of thing. Or if you were teenage, I don't know.
Yeah. And so him going in probably against his will, probably not even knowing it, then waking up and having it on. Maybe it was just feeding so much information and it just kind of snapped his mind or something like that, or he's picking up stuff from multiple possible worlds. And so it seems like it's schizophrenia, but he's actually seeing different worlds layering over each other or something like that.
Yeah. What do you say? These thoughts come across your mind. What do you do with that information?
Well, I mean, the coffin space, I guess it'd be the nature of how it works. It wasn't this huge thing, so I mean, if there were more than just us in there, why wouldn't we have seen anyone else in the room with us? Unless it somehow makes their entire bodies corporeal and invisible or something like that. So
yeah.
I think I remember the stuff with the helmet, but I don't necessarily know the science behind why we didn't see them.
Do you have, do you say any of this out loud? Because I'm quite sure that philosopher over there would have his own ideas of how that worked or what that means.
I imagine kind of holding him up, I'm just kind of like, but if he went in there with that, maybe he's picking up other worlds, but there are no bodies in there, and not, just going, all this, reiterating
That's
everything.
That's why I perk up, though.
In the Herbert
other
voice.
Worlds. Because then in my mind, I'm like, maybe I'm the main character.
Been shot like 3-4 times.
Yeah, it's just this body. I'll be fine. How badly injured am I, Pete? I can't recall.
I thought it was a flesh wound, except for the holes.
Yeah, wasn't it grazed? It was just no entry, just grazed.
You got shot by like 5 people.
Yeah, but if it's grazed, they're not as severe. If it's just grazed, I think I rolled that I got grazed, right?
What happened was you visibly looked like you were shot several times.
Yeah.
But your negative tag for it was something along the lines of like, you're vulnerable, right? Like you think there's another world. And the thing is, for you in this world right now, as a player, to realize, like you're not suffering. Your body's not actually suffering in this world right now. But you do visibly have the holes, as I imagine Jack is pointing out to you right now.
Are they leaking blood?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm not hurting, right?
But your body has not been damaged.
Gotcha. So I looked down after. Did someone say that to me? Like, is that in player?
I did.
I look down and I poke at the hole. It goes, interesting.
With that, I'll go for it.
I also poke at a hole and say, interesting.
I encourage it. It's like, yeah, go ahead, dig around, because I don't feel anything. Maybe I'm already dead.
I shoot through him, and there's no reaction.
What the hell? Why are you murdering me?
Okay. You go to pull out your gun, and you hear the guys you walk in the room, freeze, put down the weapon. And
God damn it.
There were guys pouring in from 3 different doors. Basically like 4 guys each, approximately. As they're coming in, like I said, they all kind of like suits. Couple guys are kind of turning the corner. One guy's standing in each doorway to make sure that like no one's coming from behind. You can hear more people in the outer room. So you guys know that there's very soon you're going to be swarmed by people, which are going to ask a lot of questions. But
I'm indestructible, so...
Immediately, these cops all point their guns at you, Jack. Now, you saw him take no bullets, but you don't know if you can take bullets.
I was about to say, if he's indestructible, are we indestructible?
You know...
Because, that depends, because, this world, clearly people aren't indestructible. Because, there was tons of people... the floor is probably littered with dead criminals.
And blood.
Then again, Sissy got her finger bitten off, and she's just walking around like nothing happened.
So, do I hear a deduction roll there, or is that... Are we just talking?
It could go either way. Should I turn it into a deduction roll?
It depends. It's up to you. Do you actually want to know the answer?
I do.
Okay. And it's probably imagined, right? Because there's not... The unfortunate part is the reasonable answer here there's no reason, right? The reason doesn't make sense, so...
Oh, by the way, do I need to bump up skills because of the milestones before?
Yeah, why don't you do that after it's your turn.
Okay. Wow, you just don't want me to get the roll buffs. I see how it is.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, I gotta be tough.
And fair.
1 success. Any tags?
You did just shoot me. You can use that.
That's not a tag.
I thought it was one of your relationships. I don't remember.
You said that she's a pet. She's your patsy.
She's my patsy.
Yeah.
Oh, even better! I'm putting my hands up, officers, thank you for being here. Arrest her.
Oh no! Oh my god!
You did just shoot me. I take that as a hostile action.
You weren't even hurt.
Well, my pride was.
Your pride can't be damaged. Your ego is through the roof.
No, remember I'm damaged though. It's currently not through the roof. Hold on, let me pull up my sheet again. I'll remind you of my...
You know what? Just because of that, I'm using sarcasm as my tag.
My ego is blocked because I'm unimportant.
Okay, so...
Sorry, I got excited.
That's okay. So, Sal, what did you say? You basically told her that you were like, I'm going to use this against her, right? That's what you told me, right?
Only because she shot at me and all these cops, right, showed up. I put my hands up and I remembered that, hey... That's the cop. That's my patsy. I can get out of this.
Hold on.
I said, I'm a hostage. Help!
I'm gonna pull my detective badge.
Yeah, I know. I'm missing. You've gone rogue. I've been the hostage of Jack. What's the last name of your character again? Would I know it?
What's the what?
Last name of your character?
No,
I forgot.
My character doesn't have a last name.
Perfect then. I should say, yeah, it's that rogue detective Jack. I've been his hostage all this time. Help me! I've been shot by him.
You dragged me into this mess.
That's what I do, though. I don't know what the DM's gonna allow.
So no, that's great. I wouldn't change a thing. Jack, what was your? You're gonna use sarcasm. How is it gonna help you deduce the situation?
Probably the same sort of reason I just argued with him. There is nothing logical about this situation, and so I'm just gonna be sarcastic. Like, no, this is not how this is gonna end. Like.
So maybe in your sarcasm, you realize something strange about this world.
Yes.
Okay, give it a roll. And
nothing.
Yeah, for a second there, I was like, "Oh, it's a critical." Nope, read it the wrong way. Yeah. So 1 success. What's your belief at?
I would have gained how many from the last round?
2.
2?
Yeah.
I have 9.
This is where all the players go, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna railroad whatever I want this meeting." Okay, you can use another tag if you have something else that makes sense.
Or you could buy it.
Or you could buy it.
I have never.
Know what happened.
Well, I don't think I've ever bought anything with belief.
Oh my god.
What? You know what that means, though, right?
No, I know its purpose.
Oh, okay.
I don't like using stuff like that. I'm the sort of person who will try 15 tags to try to do it on my own.
I got you. We got 2 more, so.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with neurosis.
Okay.
Because neurosis is like anxiety and things like that, and obsessiveness, and that sort of ties into my other strategy, which is obsessive rambling. And so I'm gonna say, like, all these police are like, and I know that their fury is directed at me.
Yeah.
And that's like, anxiety is just through the roof. And so I'm like, no, this is not happening. This is not going down like this.
So go and make your roll. As you're doing that, you've been both back and forthing, right? And as you have, like, these agents are slowly moving forward, they're like holding the badge in one hand, gun in the other hand, they're like creeping, like, hostage negotiation, right? The most lead guy is like, all right, just put the gun down. There's no need. One of the other guys behind them, being snarky, he's probably going to die anyway. Do you really need to shoot him again?
Can you talk about me?
Yeah, because you already have bullet holes and you're bleeding.
Yeah, I like this snarky guy.
So, second fail on the dice. Do you have a third tag? Sal, go and talk.
What's that? No, I said I require medical attention. He's gone crazy. He's taking hostages and put them inside this thing called a coffin. I just start rambling about what's going on, even though I don't know.
Hey, you prick!
Hey, we're not allies. We just know each other. You're my Patsy. I finally get to cash in my tag for you.
Slekton, are you doing anything right now? Because you actually probably do look like a known criminal just standing on the stage right now.
Slekton, you're my friend! Help me!
But Sissy's also my friend at this point, and I think she shot at him a lot. I'm just going to raise my hand and say, one of us definitely shot this guy.
Well, I don't think Sissy shot me at all. I'm pretty sure it was henchman. Sissy didn't have a gun.
See, I don't remember that clearly if it was Sissy.
No, it was random people. He was fighting people with a yo-yo and thought he was invincible and got shot.
Yeah, then I thought I was not the main character anymore.
Okay.
I got sad.
Previous statement then. Does it seem like any of the cops are actually looking at me right now?
Basically, the guys in the back are paying, are kind of the ones who are paying a little more attention, like looking across the board. And a board is in like the stage, and you can kind of almost see the gears rolling, right? As they're trying to make sense of the situation. As the guys that are in the foremost front are obviously trying to be like the calm-toned individuals that are trying to slowly approach Jack and negotiate a gun out of her hands.
Okay. I'm just gonna believe the cops, and I'm gonna like walk up slowly and be like, "Okay. Jack, you don't need to shoot Eriyou."
Hold on. Are these just like police officers at status days? Can I like pull rank on them?
That's a very good question. You do have a badge. Do you have any strategies that would help you with like authority?
Obsessive rambling.
So I mean, you could try to bluff them, right?
I can start like monologuing something about something that sounds authoritative.
Before you do that, what was the? Did you want to use one more tag?
Yeah, 'cause you're still on your roll before.
We're letting everyone else escalate the situation as it gets worse.
I know. There's no way I can get out of this. I'm delusional. I'm not sure that helps me. You're
I
fine.
don't think it helps you at all.
I have chaperone, which is like my tag from first, my vision tag from like first.
Yeah.
Thing.
That one's probably removed at this point. So.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna say that it just is what it is. You look like a horrible person right now. And the people, other than Herbert, all seem to be okay with you being the horrible person as long as it's not them.
Fuck you all.
You're not a horrible person.
I'm the one who saved your lives by pulling that fire alarm, and this is how you repay me.
I look down, and I put only one arm down, and I poke at a hole but this hole's from you.
You're not even scathed! Look at you! You're standing! You're gushing blood! And you're still being a dick!
The agents at this point get right up to her, like are grabbing the gun, are kind of like, alright, just calm down. We're gonna need to take a statement. And Jack, they're gonna basically just, as soon as they get close and they seem all calm and nice, then they're just gonna grab you and kind of tackle you and take you to the ground. And, so that's going on. Sir Slekton.
I am not going to let that happen. I'm not letting that happen, my friend. I'm trying to de-escalate everything, but if it's going to keep escalating, I'm just going to get right up in there.
Or before that happens, if you want to say that you did something, because you were technically the closest person, and you were kind of siding with them, I mean, you could have done something instead of them, but. So
I was just trying to get like right in between and be like, hey. Yeah, everyone put your guns down because we're all friends. Like, I mean, Eriyou's, yeah, he's been shot, but he's fine. I mean, go poke him. He's totally fine. And ideally, I would get everyone to poke Eriyou right in the bullet wound.
Everyone's gonna poke the hole.
Herbert, while this is going on, Rutger is nothing if not a sleazy snake. So he basically whispers to you, if they get a hold of this, you're never going to go back inside. We're never going to get your father. Nothing's going to change. You're going to be here forever. And I don't know if you've taken a look outside, but you won't like it here. If I were you, I'd make my move before those people make all the decisions for the rest of your life. And he's kind of whispering this towards you, but not as so much that everyone else can hear it.
To all exactly? It's just Herbert, right?
Is he getting turned against us?
You're talking about like if the police get it.
Yeah.
The other police, not you.
Oh.
So with the memories coming back and everything, do I remember this being the real world, or am I aware that this is also not home?
Do you have a preference? As a player, do you like this world? What he hinted towards was something we talked about in our vision rolls. Is that this is a not war-torn, is a sort of like, what's the best way to describe it to you guys without really explaining how? It's almost like a bit of a nuclear holocaust world. So outside this building, it's a bit of like a nasty radiated sandstorm out there.
Is it sort of like Fallout?
A bit. Not in that kind of, it wasn't actually a nuclear holocaust. It just like, this world is kind of going to hell. A lot of, the temperatures are probably pretty radical. It'd be a lot like, eventually if we had like, global warming to like the 9th degree. Except for obviously in a fictional alternative universe because it's like the equivalent of the 40s or 50s. So somehow they pulled that off really quick. Herbert, what do you want to do? It comes back
I
to you of like how to get this coffin working and how to get back in. But
Well, and I was gonna say, I kind of liked if as a player type of thing, I liked what we talked about also during the vision roll last time with it being another layer down still, where it's like, they're actually all animals too, like in that cartoon world. And so along that lines, I would realize that like maybe this actually wasn't home, and I just kind of lost sight of that because I found, my dad had been here or whatever.
for sure.
Maybe your dad's not real.
Well, and then he probably wouldn't be at that point.
The philosopher will always tell you that. No matter what you say, maybe it's not real.
So I've got like fake memories within fake memories within fake memories.
Lucid, I like it. I think that, so of course, you as a player get to choose what is your favorite world, but that does spark the thought in your head of like this world that you prefer, that you love, and that's kind of the most homey to you, where you got to be this hippo, and it was real, and you were not out of place, and you were kind of a respected, mighty animal. It does come to you that, that's kind of where your dad spent the most time with you, right? Because that's kind of the world that was almost fashioned to make you not feel like an outcast. So, it wouldn't be too far of a leap to think that if you got thrown in there and had any say of the matter, such as that helmet, that might be where he went.
Of course, the helmet's in there somewhere too.
Yeah, probably still on his head.
So,
and that probably is causing a problem in that world.
No.
As a player. Player info, metadata.
Right. Yeah, no, even Herbert would just be thinking like, well, we didn't see anybody else in there with us, so how would we potentially get him?
Yeah.
But
Or it could be deeper. It's like a swimming pool,
And if you're
surface layer.
If your memory's coming back to you, you would know just because you've seen this thing work before, that like there's one space of room that's kind of between both this world and the next, and that's where you guys were when you were visibly on the stage, like in the box. But once you leave that world, you actually are no longer here anymore.
Okay.
So that answers your player question of like, people do actually just disappear. It's like they go through one layer, it's like the staircase, and then they're gone.
Gotcha.
So they do physically move from layer to layer.
Right. The room is basically a portal, and they walk and through the portal that is a box into another dimension, basically.
Is this the Matrix or is this Portal?
Right. So
yes.
that little box room is like in the Matrix when they had like those hallways that were like outside of like the actual Matrix.
Yeah.
Is it also sort of like in Portal where you can shoot the portal and then through the portal you can like see out the other portal?
Not that any of you have seen. So I'm not telling you it's impossible. Just not anything any of you have ever seen before.
Right. Well, yeah, he's jarring some other memories then. But I also don't want to like let him go. But he's also a well-known criminal here, so I just kind of want to toss him towards the police.
You're like, whatever. Even if I liked your idea, you're not coming with.
Basically.
How do you throw him? Is it one of those like back collar, like the, like you're throwing him out of the bar kind of thing where he goes like flying?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, just.
Okay. We'll give you that. He's a bit of a wiry, smaller, older guy. So you just kind of, and he pretty much is pretty, he's going to let you do that because he's pretty intimidated by you. As you grab him, he's like, "What? No, what did I say the wrong thing?" And then you turn him around and kind of throw him like a little torpedo and launch him. And, no, I could have helped you. Sissy just kind of laughs. Sir Slekton, you were about to say something. Did you actually want to push by, buying it to get everyone to kind of start messing with Eriyou's body?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Do I have a say in this?
Well, you can buy something after he buys something. That's basically what could happen here. So
I'll let Sir Slekton have his moment.
Sweet. What's your belief at?
My belief is at 9.
Okay. So with 9, I don't have a good sheet in front of me. What is the 8 belief thing? I guess I could look in the Roll20.
For 9, he can't do the 1 yet.
Yeah, right. That's the one thing he can't do.
He can buy a critical success, so you still have to pick something he wants to do.
So you'd have to frame it into strategy, and then you could buy it as a crit.
My strategies are not real great for this.
They The good news
Sounds
is
like you need more believers then.
So I sort of feel like I'm going to start just poking at Eriyou, which is probably swordplay, as he's trying to fend me off, and I'm trying to get around his defenses.
Okay.
I'm just telling the cops, it's like, hey, seriously, he's fine. Just come poke him. Jack, you too. We're all friends here. Sissy, get over here.
Okay. Are you buying a crit or are you buying a double?
I'll just buy the double.
Okay. Then that's exactly what happens. Now, of course, you said Sissy. So yeah, Sissy walks over. She kind of is kind of like eyeing Eriyou with this and kind of like wondering what your angle is, Sir Slekton, because to her, you're lucky. You're one of the gang, not her gang, but you know, she's used to shysters. She's used to con men and, God, I can't think of the good words, but charlatans, right? So she's like, I don't know what your angle is, but she gives you a wink and she walks over and starts poking, sticks her middle finger right into one of your bullet holes area.
Does it hurt?
It does not hurt.
I'm going to say, be careful not to mix your blood.
Do I have some kind of weird disease now?
I mean, who knows where she's been?
You have weird diseases and you don't understand. Well, actually, you do, right? You think the world goes deeper. And there'd be no further, better validation than you're actually not dying in this world.
But I'm not the main character, so I'm still unimportant. I have that as a flaw. Like I'm like bummed out. Like I found out that I'm immortal, but not in the real world, right? Like
Jack.
you know.
I was gonna say, I just remembered belongings were a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my belongings is an inhaler, which consequently implies that my character has asthma. So I'm just gonna start having an asthma attack.
Okay. Kind of fitting, because otherwise, right, you're kind of in that situation where, like, they are on top of you, but they're kind of distracted by Slekton, but obviously there's too many agents to really not try to apprehend you. And basically, as they do, you start having an asthma attack, and that kind of, again, kind of disarms them in a way that they give you a little space, realizing the situation's disarmed, but they still are naturally going to try to apprehend you, but they're kind of letting you take care of that. It doesn't seem clear that they recognize who you are, and you do think that these are probably some kind of agency, like government agency, maybe like something like the FBI. Okay. With that, Herbert, what are you doing?
Well, we need to get back to the box. Got the cops in between us now. I just threw Rutger at them.
Luckily, they're not between you. They're between them, kind of at the front of the stage. You're kind of towards the back of the stage, pretty much being left alone. You toss the guy, and basically the control panel's around the floor, and you know how to use that to re-get the coffin to pop back up.
Yeah, but I don't want to leave them all behind either.
Okay. Don't forget you also have your belief.
Yeah.
You could find ways to make sure that they all got pulled in, or that your distraction that should distract the police or agents happens, whether they like it or not.
But I was thinking, like, distraction-wise, a combination of things. Like, I, for the first time there, kind of realized that I've kind of got a weight on my back, and, like, it's actually 2 compressed tanks of water from my moisture mantle in this world. And so if I could, like, rig those to kind of, like, rupture in the middle of the group or something, combine that with all of the chemical powder and all that to create a sludgy mess of horrible chemicals to potentially get in the police eyes.
Is the sprinkler still going?
Yeah, I'm sure that it's dwindling, right? So this room is probably, like, soaked. Those chairs
I thought
we
had the chemical ones in this room, not the actual sprinklers.
I think there was both.
Yeah, there
was both.
Because there was a weird semi-malfunctioning powder element thing that was going on some of them. So it's this weird mushy mix that's probably ruined all of the upholstery in this room. But most of that is kind of like, dwindled down to, instead of flooding, right, it's just kind of like drizzling through the room. I love, though, I totally didn't even... You're like, well, the moisture mantle in this world would represent itself as 2 bottles of water on my back. So I imagine you behind your back, like, playing with these canisters.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. What
It's kind of like
strategy do you use for that?
The best one would be an imaginative use would be probably deceptively fast. Like I'm able to quickly kind of get them off and rigged to bust off the ends and have them propel themselves towards the crowd of the police officers.
Okay. Sounds like imagine. Obviously, not a use
Yeah.
you're probably used to using with these. The sleight of hand necessary. People are watching. There's a
Ooh.
lot of
Oh no.
tension.
Ooh.
He's got tags though.
Dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
First tag would probably be again my dad, with the genius father and all that, to have a better understanding of how to properly pull off what I'm trying to do, and understanding like the way combustion and propulsion, all this stuff would work and whatnot.
Okay. How would that help you? You just start seeing, like, it's like the Einstein. You start seeing the numbers and algorithms.
Kind of like it would give me better to aim them and where exactly to align it and how much pressure to apply to like busting off the end to get the maximum force for it to propel forwards.
Okay. What about the other?
The other
Are
one,
we going to say that was for your soul skill or your strategy?
we'll go with the soul skill for that one. Strategy, I think I actually might use the aggressive philosopher as one of my relationships because he's my motivator. And this whole time he's been talking about like this not being the real world, and now I understand that it's not, or at least it's not the world I want to be at. So there are more worlds, and he's all about getting stuff done. He's always motivated me to try to achieve my goals too. So I'm like doubling down to like make him
Inadvertently.
proud.
And it's probably fitting. You know you have support. You know that, like, he's going to want this too.
Right.
Go for it. Okay. You got one success, but you probably also have 9 belief, right?
Yeah, I'm at 10.
Okay, so even better. What would you like to buy? Or, I'm sorry, you have 3 tags you can reroll.
Yeah. So going to my relationships again, my true love, like this world is garbage. That I'm not a hippo. I'm not in the world of anthropomorphic animals that I belong in, and I have a deep longing to return to that world. And I'm remembering all the time I spent watching BBC's Planet Earth documentaries, and my drive to
Thank you for that. Like, we've missed that.
And my tag for that was hope. Like those documentaries give me hope. And I'm rushing. Or I'm grabbing deep on the hope from these documentaries to get me home.
I am so
Sorry.
bad at linking images. I'm trying to link something to the chat. It would be hilarious, but I don't know how to link memes very well.
It's just so funny because if you've been at a Target or a Walmart and walked by the TVs, they always play those shows. So I'm just imagining all these, like, this sort of things going through your mind.
Or like Costco, where their TVs just had the random, most vibrant, saturated colors they
Yeah.
could possibly find.
Give me hope.
Look, adorable sloths. They move.
I mean,
so slow.
this is really late, but I'm gonna link it in Twitch.
Yeah.
But this is what I was thinking when Herbert was talking about the hippo stuff, like how he's doing that tag. That's a meme. Like,
That's kind of what I pictured. Yeah.
that's what I was picturing too, except a hippo. I couldn't find one with a hippo. I'm sorry, and I couldn't make a meme fast enough.
So would that count for my tag, the BBC thing?
Of course it will. Of course.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh no, it's fine.
I feel like it would fit if I was faster. Like, hey guys, anyone who happens to be watching, this is how I envisioned.
And
See,
is
we
that
have
successful or not? I can't tell if that's
It
a 5
is.
or a 6.
It's a 5.
And?
Double
So-
success.
Yeah.
Bum. All right. So, with that, you launch those into the perfect trajectory to sort of mix with the mix of the ground and distract the others. How does it distract them?
Well, I think it launches into a couple of them, and the force of it kind of knocks them off their feet, and then it just starts kind of spraying all around with like violent force up in the air, like kind of sprinkling all over the other ones, and like they're just the ruckus of it. All of a sudden, the new water and everything, it's just causing them all to turn and face it, and
Does
let's
it knock
go,
us
guys.
too? Did it knock me down?
No.
You're close, but it
Okay.
was aiming at them. It only knocked down a couple of them, but that drew the attention of like the other ones.
Like some kind of Bill and Ted sort of escape. Like it
Gotcha.
hits the cops between like Eriyou and Jack and Sir Slekton, knocking them off stage, hitting some of the guys in the crowd that are in the aisles, right? Because they're kind of walking through the main aisle. The guys on the sides have kind of eased up, right? And now they're going to start running towards, but they're kind of slipping in this watery chemical mix.
Where are we running to, by the way?
I'm motioning y'all to come to me as I'm working with the other hand, like bringing the coffin back online.
I slapped Sir Slekton's hand out of my hole. And then I follow Herbert. Because I figured he would still be touching my holes. What?
So Eriyou, obviously when you see all this, it kind of like snaps its fingers at the scene, right? Your character kind of comes to and goes, oh, shit. If I'm going to get out of here, yeah, we need to cop. Like, you start coming to, right? You start getting kind of like keen on the situation and realize like, yeah, we got to go. Like, this ain't even the real world. The coffin starts folding out of the ground as it kind of rises up, sort of in a flat way, and then opening up. And conveniently, is starting to open around the group of you that moves into it. Now, does anyone not move into it?
I'm still like coughing and dying.
I don't know who that guy is. I don't wave back at him.
Didn't you recognize me as Herbert still when we first showed up?
I did not. I think Herbert's a hippo.
I thought he had just.
I was the one who figured out that was you. But nobody else believes me, and I'm on the floor coughing my guts out.
So
right, and I at this point don't care. It's like I don't want to go to jail for the rest of my life in this fake world. So I'm following the random guy that just created diversion.
Of course.
And I slapped out Sir Slekton's fingers from my holes. He could choose to follow or not.
Herbert, as you are waving them on, Eriyou kind of, jogs over. Jack is kind of rolling.
I run first. Head first. Is it like a hole in the ground? I just dive through it.
The two of you kind of are standing, and the coffin's starting to open up around you.
Okay.
So basically, you two just got in the spot where it would build around you, like the room you were in before. You see that Jack is on the ground, and she's kind of rolling. More importantly, though, you make eye contact with Sir Slekton, and when you make eye contact with him,
I might need my patsy. I got something. I'm gonna use that yo-yo from earlier, that magical yo-yo.
Yeah.
And use it, fling it towards her and try to wrap around her wrist to yank her out of there.
Okay.
Or yank him out. I might need my patsy for later.
For Herbert, you see that Sir Slekton is staring at you, and you're staring at him, and that blank stare that he usually has is in this moment recognition that he actually has no idea who you are.
I'm the hippo.
Are you sure?
Yes, come on. You're gonna get arrested.
You're gonna get arrested, but go.
Did I save Jack or no? Did the yo-yo trick thing work?
You do that, and Sissy looks back at the crowd and goes, "Oh, I don't know where you're going, but it can't be worse than here." And she kind of grabs Jack as she runs towards. They kind of catch right before those walls start to close up. Sir Slekton, as you're kind of moving that direction, you hear one guy be like, "Lucky, don't! You're in trouble. If you don't, get back here. We're not done with you." As the cops or the agents are yelling at you.
Okay, I was wondering, is that Rucker's voice or is okay?
No.
No, I believe I have a tag follower, so I'm going to follow my friends.
Okay. Great. Okay. Coffin opens up. All of you kind of get. In my head, I'm thinking you get kind of digitized, right? As the walls go up, a ceiling forms above you, and all of this world just disappears as you reemerge in this sort of gray box. In this box, none of you have one of those enforcer outfits, but you are armed with Herbert, who now has some memory of how this place works. So, Herbert, looking around the room, that there are panels that you can put your hand on that will open up these doorways. Now, you don't have the tools to see them, but you know that basically where they should be approximately. So, opening one of these doors will take you to this world that you need to go to, just by basically the words of what you call the place. So think for a second of what you want to call this animal world, because it probably got named exactly what your pet name was for it, and then you could leave them there if you want.
Anthro Earth.
Anthro Earth.
So wait, are we still looking injured? Do we look like back in the world? Like, is he a hippo again?
Okay. Does everyone go into Anthro Earth?
I'm still a little confused.
Okay. You're all in the gray
Is
box.
he a hippo right now?
Are
In
we
the
still
gray
human
box.
forms, or are we back to our original
You
first
all
session?
look like you looked when you walked
Day
in.
one?
Like, so we're still in the human form and everything, and yeah.
Now, when he opens this door, you'll basically see, in a way, right, a door-shaped portal into this world, and you will see inside of it basically a city of animals that are looking back at you.
But they're like animal people, like they're anthropomorphic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Straight out of Ironclaw. That was for
Out of
Eriyou.
what?
It's funny.
Okay. Everyone goes inside.
I mean, I guess I'm just a little confused where we're at exactly. So we left Cop World, right?
We're in
Into
the gray room.
box.
Yeah.
But we all
We're
look
going
the
to
same. I
animal.
still had holes in my body, right? And then I see a new like door open up, like a new.
Yeah, Herbert walks over to a wall, puts his hand in a panel, and says "Anthro World," and then that green light that you saw is the enforcer.
I sigh because I know I'm not the main character in that world either, so I step through it.
Okay.
I'm unimportant right now.
So everyone walks in as Eriyou is like, "I'm not the main character."
I'm still being dragged by the yo-yo.
Oh yeah, that's
No,
right.
you're being dragged out by Sissy. Sissy grabbed you.
Oh, okay.
Even better.
So yeah, as you're going in, Sissy is saying something to Jack like, "They were gonna arrest you. You were never gonna see the light of day. I don't know what the heck you were thinking about there." And she's dragging you, and you're like hog-tied, you're like lightly tied up at like the shoulder level by this yo-yo. It's very
I let go
uncomfortable.
of it now. If it's tied to Jack, I'm not worried about it. Jack owes me one in my mind.
What?
My mind.
I owe you.
In my mind. Again, doesn't mean you don't know this. That's GM knowledge.
Okay, as you come through into Anthro World, each
What
of
do I
you
look
gets
like?
to think for a moment of what kind of an animal-like creature you would become in this world.
You don't do this.
Other than Herbert, who walks through proudly and returns to his hippo shape. Herbert, now that you're through, you're the only one who's not disoriented by this transition. So as you walk in, you find yourself basically on a street. Now this looks very similar to like a sort of like modern day world. Modern day, what I mean by that is still kind of like in the 60s. Maybe instead of like if things earlier were kind of 40s and 50s, this is like more definitely like the 60s. But all of the humans look anthropomorphic, right? So you have people in like, slacks with like a sweater. Everyone's got like undershirts. There's still a lot of hats. Cars are of that time period. There's no cell
Is Herbert
phones.
next to me?
What was it?
Is Herbert next to me?
He'd be in front of you.
And men were all kind of clustered together still.
Yes.
I grabbed Herbert and said, "We got to go deeper." Like I don't think this is the realest world either, but
Now,
Wait, so are the rest of us animals now?
yeah.
Herbert, to you think this is the deepest because this is the first world he made, and he made it for you. You don't have to say that. That's what goes through your head.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of depth. I think they're all equally real. It's just stepping sideways through dimensions.
I wave him off when he says that, and then I look at my arm and I realize it's scaly. Hey, if you don't let me do it, I'ma do it.
I don't
I say
know why I just didn't introduce you as a dragon. I don't know why. Everyone else is laughing because they all
Well, you
knew.
know that's my go-to. If I could be it, in any story, I try to, and you kind of like let it happen.
Okay.
Gotta stop it.
Sir Slekton, what do you look like?
I'm a panda.
Aww,
Yes, because pandas are dumb too. That's the
Are
best
you wearing
part.
armor?
adorable.
Like pandas in real life are super dumb.
Now, you were a knight in that first world we started with. Are you wearing any kind of armor, or is it just regular clothes, or what?
I assume I'm still wearing armor. I don't know what you see.
It's like the panda out of whatever the fighting game that was.
Okay.
Fighting game?
I think she's
Or-
talking about Tekken.
Yes, that.
Oh.
Jack,
Okay.
what kind of animal are you?
It's possible a peregrine falcon.
Okay. All right. Walking into this world, you all come out of a phone booth, and as you look back at what you are, and you come out on the sidewalk in what would be basically a busy street. This looks like it's a city, so you do see tall buildings around you.
You guys got to click that link real quick. I'm sorry.
What?
You
Like,
see it? Y'all see it?
Yeah.
And Twitch.
The panda?
Oh.
Do you guys see that? That's
I don't
hilarious.
see
Is that what
anything.
you look like, Sir Slekton?
Are you in the Twitch chat?
Yeah.
I don't see anything in chat.
You
No,
may have
Twitch
joined
chat.
it. If you joined it after, it won't show up. Yeah.
Oh.
If you're in there now, I'll show it again.
There you go. So with that, Herbert, as you get out and you turn around, and they start bumbling out of this red. Well, we'll make it black. It doesn't have to be the traditional like old school thing. You're not in London necessarily. When you get out though, you see a group of people, 3 of them to be exact, which probably doesn't constitute a group actually, but 3 figures that all appear to be dogs of different kinds. And as you think about it, actually one of them is a wolf. And the wolf figure walks towards you. They all have very similar outfits. What's kind of trippy about it is it looks a little bit like the agents you saw a minute ago, like in outfits. But in these 3 figures, there's a wolf, some kind of like almost husky, and then another that's a lot more like the dare dog. It's got like the McGruff looking face.
Oh.
I was thinking poodle,
dog.
but
It's like the bloodhound.
Yeah, thank you. So the first one walks up to you, and he kind of like gives you a little punch in the shoulder. We've been waiting for you. It's been too long. And he opens his jacket, and you see that they all have basically these vests on, which should be something like a bulletproof vest. And they all say, what do they say, Herbert?
Mound.
Yes.
Like all
Mound.
capital letters, like M.O.U.N.D. D.
Okay.
I got lost in the other side.
Well,
Sorry about that.
since you've been gone, we've had some real problems. And he turns and he lifts his hat so that he can look up higher than the kind of low brow that it has. And when he spins around, he points. And you realize that one of the buildings in the background isn't a building at all. It is something like a 50-foot tall, for you guys, like an Iron Giant looking thing. As players, it's like some kind of giant robot, synthetic life looking thing. And now that is something that has no place in this world. For you, Herbert.
Is it a new enforcer?
I sense a final boss.
Interesting. Interesting.
'Cause that's what I would think as my
you guys
character.
turn the corner, you can hear all the things they're saying because they're just right in front of you. You just
Yeah.
maybe don't know what to make out of it, and you're all looking at your bodies being different. And but yeah, Eriyou, do you say that, or do you think that, or
I do think it because my true love is freedom, and I have wings now, right?
yeah?
First thing I want to do is take flight and explore my new freedom.
Oh, that's true. Should we be able to add a tag based on what animal we are now?
The cool thing about that is actually I don't have a say in that. Anytime you want to add a tag, you would just have to basically start adding it to other people and hope that they would return the favor.
Agree. So my question would be this: do I feel more important again now that I'm a dragon instead of a person? Would my ego come back? Eat. How
Please,
do I remove
God,
the negative
no.
tag?
I was gonna say that that's up to you as a player, but the
No, but
logical
I have to
train of
remove-
thought
that's a
there
bad
is that
tag.
obviously then yeah.
No, but remember I have the negative tag. I'm trying to see if that would remove it.
Yeah, but it's not for you to propose.
Oh,
Oh, burn.
well, regardless, I feel more important.
I think
Compared
we
to
should
my-
all agree to give each other animal tags.
I already have animal tags.
Well, yeah, you're already a hippo, but the rest of us.
Would you guys all agree that I am no longer unimportant now that I am not just a philosopher? Now I'm a dragon philosopher?
Oh, God, a dragon philosopher.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Every dragon I've ever heard of.
Well, because that would take off my
First.
negative tag, which will allow me to have ego again. That's why I ask.
Slekton, what do you think?
About the tag?
Yeah, Jack, what do you think? A tag vote takes it's a 10-second thing, so
Yeah,
we all have to instantly agree, or it just doesn't happen right now.
No,
I mean, I'm fine with it.
I'm okay with it.
I agree that he should have his ego back.
Okay.
Yes.
You realizing you are the scaly, awesome creature only known in myths as a dragon. Looking around, you see stupid bunny rabbits and funny-looking cats.
Oh, I'm gonna remove delusional because we can only have 5 tags, correct?
You can only have 5 in the left column.
Right. So I'm gonna basically I am a dragon, guys. Right? Can we agree
Yeah.
for vote?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I am no longer delusional. I have finally ascended my true form. I fly around.
Am I allowed to add a beginner strategy?
You could because you had those points from last meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could totally add that from last meeting.
I want to add beginner flying since I became a bird.
Awesome. Very
Crap.
fitting.
Do I have to roll because I'm flying around, Pete?
No, only if I think that for some reason you'd be challenged.
Cool.
Okay.
Or would it be easier for me to add that as a tag?
If you ever use it as a strategy, it'd be harder. Like I can't use flight as a strategy anytime soon.
Yeah.
I'm just flying around for theatrics. Not like.
Yeah.
okay.
Like flying. I mean, it could be a tag. Like it's the bad part about it is if you want to do anything with flying, like that's strategies. If you want to do anything effective, so it does have a benefit. Like you're like, hey, the ground's flooding or there's an earthquake, and you're like, well, cool, I do this. Oh yeah, and I can fly, by the way. So or there's some
Well,
givens there.
since I don't have my gun anymore, since the cops took it, can I replace the pistol strategy with flying?
Well, technically no, but you could still have either your pistol on you, like maybe you grabbed it or somebody grabbed it for you as you were coming in, because no one took your pistol. They were trying to put it down, but then Slekton said, hey, I wouldn't have let them really tackle you. So, but you could buy flying with those points from last meeting,
What do you mean?
because at the end of last meeting you would have got a point to raise your character.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Everyone else raised their character, but you had to go. So, and that's cool. But yeah, I mean, so you have the point still if you want to raise something.
It was
Yeah.
2 points, wasn't it? Because it's both milestones.
Yes, thank you. I was saying points, and I'm like, wait a minute. It should only be a point. That's what it was. Was we hit the 2
It's 2
milestones.
points.
So can I add it and bump it up to skilled then?
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
I
think
apologize.
you're totally a falcon, right? That's what you said you were. See,
Yeah,
that's
I'm a
the tag.
bird somehow. Somehow
Yeah, I
I'm
think
still.
that's a tag that if you don't have 5 already, I think she should be tagged as that, so I can also know she's a falcon.
Okay.
Hey, we can compete in flying. Yeah,
So I should add falcon as a tag.
I agree.
Well, you can't do that at the moment because
Oh.
someone else has to give you Falcon because they see you
I did.
actively acting like a Falcon that needs to be able
Oh.
to fly and stuff.
Gotcha.
Okay. Moving right along.
I was trying. Sorry.
It doesn't hurt to say it and get it in the heads
Yeah.
of the other players because that's what you would kind of do at the table. It's just hard when we're on Twitch, right? Because you're not
Yeah.
really able to be like, God, I wish I could fly.
Hey,
I
guys.
Falcon, look, I'm
Guys.
looking at things. Okay, so with that,
I'm flying circles around the group, by the way.
okay. So, Herbert, Slekton has nothing better to do than just watch. He's like, ooh. I can only imagine that your head hits the phone booth because you're not paying attention to your surroundings. You're just watching in circles. Most people would just like move their eyes or head left to right, but you'd probably actually doing like something like, yeah, right.
Sorry.
Herbert, mound is in front of you. The wolf in front of you. We'll say his name's Wiley, and Wiley's in front of you and points at this strange construction-looking thing in the background. Not like anything else in this world. You don't know what to make of it, but what do you say to him?
Well, I think I better go check it out. You guys in?
Are you asking us, like your
Yeah.
part? I'm above you, so you probably have to yell it.
Oh, you're that high above us?
Well, a bit. I am testing my flight abilities.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
like
yep.
not like doing just circles. I'm doing like loops, you know. I'm trying to see if I can breathe fire. I don't know. Can I breathe fire, Pete? I don't know if I can.
Nope.
No fire. Like, damn it, not a real dragon. Close enough though.
The bloodhound looks to you as he walks up. You want me to put him down? He points up at the dragon.
Oh, it's his first time. He'll be fine.
At his side, instead of handcuffs, when he shows his coat open to you, you see a leash and a collar.
What?
He lets his coat slide. All right.
They're an
He looks at the
eclectic
others.
bunch, but
New guys.
yeah,
Okay.
they're good people.
If
Slekton,
I
is there
like
anything you
become a
wanted to do
falcon,
before I just kind of montage us to the construction?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Or-
Minutes later, or 10 or 20 minutes later, depending, some of you there sooner than others, you find yourself by this nearby giant animated robot-looking figure. Now, when I said Iron Giant, I said that to give you an idea of scale and size and kind of look. A little bit of that Fallout-esque robot, right? Kind of rounded in nature, like the 60s maybe you would see, in like car design and stuff. But when you get closer, what would be hair on this robot is actually like these sort of like dreadlock-like tubings. And the creature itself is much more like synthetic life in the way that it looks like a unique individual person, right? But it's a giant, like 30-foot tall synthetic life form that's clearly made like as if it was a giant, like silverish blue Kian car.
Do the designs and shapes of the Robo-Dread, do they remind me of the Cerebro helmet?
They do, actually, which is very interesting that you mentioned that. It doesn't look like the helmet, but they definitely remind you of it. And the figure actually looks somewhat like your father. Not a perfect match by any means. But he looks like a figure that is like made in the model of your father.
is it like moving at all? Does it seem to have any sort of sense of life, or is it like a statue?
So the first thing I should talk first about would be, Jack, do you fly there? Because I'm assuming Eriyou does.
Yeah, I do.
Yes, I'd
Okay.
fly there.
So I imagine you two get there first before Slekton and Herbert. Slekton and Herbert, basically the mount agents, pull up basically what looks like a paddy wagon, and they tell you to get in. And then they drive you that way, getting you there almost at the same time, but from a different angle, right? So
So, is
Jack and
Sister-
Eriyou, as the two of you take flight and you fly over in that area, you do also notice that there are other winged creatures that live in this city. And very much like your first original world, it is kind of a darkened world in the way that, or it just could be the time of day, I guess, if you don't know it. But yeah, it's a little dark and a little cloudy. But so it just gives you the feeling like it's probably like closer to dusk. So as the two of you fly and get closer, there's a little bit of air traffic, which is just other people, right? Flying creatures that you're not used to having to navigate around. So there are some curse words that are basically spit in your direction as you don't
I
know
spit 'em
basically
right back.
flying traffic patterns.
Can I use a strategy? Being a dick. I feel like now that my ego's back intact, it's like, out of the way, peasants.
Can I boost his being a dick with a tag of my own?
Of course.
Yes.
I'm sarcastic.
So
That's only
without a
word.
roll,
'Cause I
Eriyou
Can I
is
roll?
going to just basically hand wave them and be like, "You peasants, get away from me. This is my right of way. You don't belong here." And Jack, what would you be saying to kind of like amp that up?
I'd just be like, sort of like, yeah, he's so awesome.
but
And,
I
like,
think you're being
it's a-
serious and you're being
Yeah.
facetious.
The two of you get closer to the creation, and you realize that it's very tall, right? 30 feet's deceptively tall for an individual that can move around and walk. As you approach closer, before you get like right up to it, you can tell that it looks in the direction of the two of you, but doesn't pay you any mind, given that there are other flying creatures that are moving around. The creature itself does seem to have some sort of like a club for your purposes that it's in its hand, And the end of the club seems to have like this sort of an electrocuting charge on it. And there are a whole bunch of people around the base of it. And they are all kind of being moved around in line format into what look like giant cages.
What?
Oh dear.
And these cages are basically mounted on the backs of trucks. And it gives you the feel of what would look like to us in modern day terms of something like a concentration camp.
So,
Oh, God.
my true love is freedom, and now that I feel a higher sense of freedom and I see this happening,
Yeah.
my mind is like, this will not do. And I fly at the thing. I still have post-it
Do
notes
we get
of
to beat the
research.
shit out of something?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go free those people that he's caging up.
Okay. As you do that, basically, Sir Slekton and Herbert, you two were in the car. So as you're in the car, you can be briefed. Do you have any questions, first of all, or is there anything you want to say before I just start spilling information?
I have a question. Is Sissy still with us?
Yes. So Sissy probably should have gotten in the car with you as well. So
Wait,
Wait,
is
what
Sissy-
animal is Sissy?
in that case, there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there has to be 2 vehicles. So
Can she be a panther?
hey, I like
I
that.
thought she'd be like a
let's make
bear.
her Panther.
Oh, okay. Or cougar. I don't know why. I think she was gonna be like a bear, like a mama bear. But panther.
That's a really good one too. But Panther was said first. We'll go with Panther. So, Slekton, what was your question? Other than Sissy.
That was the first thing, and then I was going to say that I wish we had all come out as lions so we could go Voltron on this guy.
Oh. Well, except for the hippo. The hippo was.
See?
We could have all been hippos and became a hippo version of Ultron.
That's awesome.
I kind of look over at him. What's Voltron?
Yeah, I'm not there.
I really hope you show him a picture one day, and it's like that could be.
With the
I
picture
don't
that
know either.
look at a superhero bear, right? The panda, like. Oh my God! You have armor, right? You should like. Is he part of Mound? Is Sir Slekton like part of Mound? Like ultra secret tech? I feel like that. I want to give him a tag if he wants it or whatever. I think he should still be armored, but it should be like he gets like a giant mech of panda armor, like a bigger version of him. Like they were working on it while we were away.
I like it.
The armor he's wearing is like the plug suit, basically, that he fits into a spot on the chest that powers the fuller one.
Exactly, like the picture that you
It's
posted.
power armor in Fallout.
Okay. Well, being the people pleaser I am, maybe you'll find something very interesting when you reach the site. Meanwhile, in the vehicle, Herbert, anything you want to ask?
How long has it been here? What's it been doing?
Okay. The wolf looks at you. They're all pretty nonchalant about this, but you think it's just a face. They all try to keep their cool. So he's in the passenger seat. Basically, you two are in the back. Sissy's in the other vehicle with the other 2 guys. They're right behind you, and he looks over, basically behind the bench seat towards you. So you probably don't understand this, but you've been gone a long time. In the meantime, some lunatic came, and no one listened to him. He said that he had to save his kid, and to save his kid, he had to make some sacrifices around here. Well, of course, what do you imagine? We just kicked him to the curb. We told him he's silly. We didn't pay him any attention. Unfortunately, as he points out the window at that thing, then those things started showing up. And unfortunately, as far as we know, there's no way to deal with them. He calls them his enforcers. They are taking individuals from the city whenever they want. Usually not so much that it's killing the population, but taking groups of them at a time, taking them to whoever knows where. The Bloodhound chimes in. Well, we know where, but it's this kind of facility. It's this square, giant, it's like a big house. And inside, our kind doesn't come back. And he takes a lot of them in there. Anyway, this guy, who would have known, he rides in one of those things. As far as we know, each one is a different individual. They all have a personality. And I don't know where they come from. I don't know how they got here. Just one day, he had enough is enough, and they started showing up. And ever since, we don't have an answer. We're just victims. So that's kind of as much as they fill you in as you're kind of driving up. You can kind of always see it in the distance. As you pull up, you start seeing these lines as they're kind of moving them. They'll give you detailed information about the lines if you want, but like just basically they drop down and they just start ordering people to get in these lines. And if you're anywhere near them, you know, there's just about nothing you can do. And those electrocution rods that they have, I mean, they tap you and you're out. There's just, they don't have any defense against it. You're just out.
So they have smaller robots helping, or smaller enforcers as well, is what you're saying?
No.
Or it's just the one big one?
Yeah, but from what these guys are saying, there's more than this one.
Well, right, but I don't know. I was just, what was being described, I wasn't sure if it was just the one, or if there's like ground level, regular sized things helping it out also.
No, what you actually see, which is really kind of more, not unmoralizing, right, or demoralizing, is as you get closer, you realize that there are agents of Mound that are helping facilitate the movement. So, of course, that sparks more questions. He's like, hey, what can we say? It's not that we want to help. It's just that we have to. If we don't do it, there's no order, and they just start killing or crunching. So, as we see it, the best option is, until we come up with something better, is we just kind of keep feeding the problem. So, with that, it gets real dreary in the car. You're almost pulled up. The one quiet guy, the other quiet, the husky-looking figure looks over at Sir Slekton. So, what you gonna do? He sniffs you.
What are you gonna do?
As you get closer, the wheels start parking. He's like, no, seriously, what are you gonna do? That was totally your way to just say it again. Like,
Do you sniff him back?
That's let's go with that. That was better than I think I was gonna come up with.
I was just curious because like I thought you were mimicking because you had
Yeah.
mimicry thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just sniffing right back.
So, you two arrive. As you pull up, the vehicle starts slowing down. The wolf in the vehicle looks to Herbert, and he goes, oh, yeah, that's not going to end well. And he points up, and you see the dragon, Eriyou, flying towards the giant creation. He looks back at you. This one we call Id. So, good luck.
Id? Awesome, like
Id?
eagle?
Or if you want, you could do like the rest of us, and we could just turn this car around.
Well, I was hoping you'd clear the area and then call in reinforcements with as much armaments as you have. But if y'all are just going to run, then run.
Guilt them hardcore.
I didn't think y'all were puppies.
Dun, dun, dun.
Lucid,
like
I
it.
think that you have a definite opportunity here to try to be inspirational. And you coming back, I mean, there's basically people who are just waiting for you to come. Like, this was like, you were like a champion that was missing, you know, like a superhero in this world, to them at least. And that's mostly because you know that this world has some programming that's different than others. This was meant to be a place where you were special in a good way, not like the outcast. So there are some abnormalities in this world that favor you, such as all of the people here really think you're something. So your word carries a lot of weight, depending on how you want to use it. So how do you want to use it?
I want y'all to clear the area, get all these people out of here. There ain't nobody else going in these trucks. Then I want you to get all the cameras you got and broadcast at every frequency when you get back here. We're going to show them that we're not going to take it anymore. And in my head, I'm thinking, I'm not telling him this is my dad doing this. But if we're broadcasting on every known frequency, he'll see that I'm there.
Yeah.
So that's the actual plan.
The actual plan's hopefully he'll back off, yeah?
Like jar something that is like, hey, there he is.
So,
Maybe that's why he's collecting the animals.
So
Looking
with
for you.
that, right? Gosh, what was I going to say? Was
Sorry.
I forgot. There's something good that was right there. I was just going to comment. Okay, so you say all that. Give me a roll. What are you going to use to try to turn this around on them?
That'd be Mighty Mouth.
Mighty Mouth.
When I took it, I pictured it as both physical and verbal.
I think it's a reasonable use in this world.
Do I hear him from all the way above?
No.
While I'm okay, I wanted to see how badass his Mighty Mouth was. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, double success.
So Slekton's in the back, sniffing the dog as the dog is trying to get a straight answer out of him. The car comes to a stop. Herbert, you can tell me what they start to do to set up the situation you want. And Jack, what are you doing? You are just kind of flying. Do you just kind of, are you just hovering as you see their car pull up? Eriyou's flying. I imagine it's Superman style, but flying straight at the creature.
I might not be the main character, but I'll be the best supporting character ever.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and start the challenge of the situation, just to get this. We're running out of time, so we're going to kind of try to narrow that down. With that, the challenge of this baby. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to use the new thing, the newfangled thing. Okay, we're going to go to the untitled sheet over here. Pull this up. Cool. And let's see, we got that. Got to put it up on the Twitch.
It has old stuff on it, though.
That's easy to remove.
Okay, just thought I'd let you know.
Pulling this on up, and... Okay, so, the situation here is twofold. One, if we can make a statement with id here, right, we can try to get to Dad, right, the person behind it all. And maybe even sort of like rally the troops, reinvigorate the morale, do something that could revitalize the situation here. With that, you have this giant monstrosity in front of you. And dealing with that, I know clearly the body there is a problem. And that's going to be, oops, as I used the wrong one, text. Okay, the body is going to be a 9. And mind, we're going to give that a 7, as they're very intelligent. And the spirits, we'll also give that a 7, just to make that solid there. Okay, they're a little off, but I can easily move them later. Tags. So 3 things that we got going on here is that we want situational tags. Obviously, giant, powerful, strong. I guess I'm going to say giant, right, to kind of cover that. The other thing is we're going to give them giant, powerful, strong. That stunning baton thing is a real danger. And you don't quite know exactly the full benefit of that thing. And probably complacency, right? The people of this world are still complacent, even though we're actively trying to work against that complacency. Yeah. With that in mind, what's the first action we have is Eriyou flying straight at it. Eriyou, describe how you would attack this thing.
By being a dick.
Okay. How are you being a dick?
I'm flying right at it and looking for any kind of weak spots. You said it had like wires exposed, like the dread. I don't care if it looks like I'm hair pulling. I'll pull its wires right out of its goddamn head, one at a time if I have to.
Okay.
Oh. Is that satisfactory? Or I could use researching as I'm approaching it.
I like the idea that being a dick and fighting this thing is pulling its hair. So why did you do that?
Well, because like it's like tendrils, right? But it looks like hair, so you know. So is that imagine or reason?
Imagine.
Ooh. I got nothing. But you know what? I have something that I think I'm going to use instead. I'm going to buy a critical success beat. I'm going to do 4 points of damage.
All right. With that, so you're going for the body. Buying a critical success?
Yep.
You can tell me what it does by pulling this creature's hair. What does it
Well,
look
like because I'm much smaller than it, and I'm just yanking out all these wires from behind it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like reaching behind with one massive hand, and it can't really even get me because its hand's too big. You know,
Okay.
like I'm like evading it, like running around, just yanking wires and like doing whatever I can, being an ultra dickish behind its head. So it's like everyone could see this happening. Like the people that were being like single filed into the trucks can all look up and see this thing like suddenly being stopped by one mere tiny dragon person. I'm hoping this will eliminate the tag of complacency. I think all the people will be like, hey, that one guy, that crazy nutcase is fighting that thing. And I also have tags or relationships, right, with Glitch, which just gives me hope. Maybe I can short circuit this thing and Glitch will appear, whatever that is.
Interesting. Okay, so you fly towards it. You grab its hair. You fly into its hair. You pull the hair.
I'm like when its hands comes to get me, I move around so like it grabs its own hair, and if he tries to yank me out, it just yanks more of his own hair out.
Okay.
Like he reaches, and he's just like, "Arr." You know, I'm just like,
it reaches for you and pulls some of its own hair, getting very disturbed. In its offhand, it's holding this sort of a stun baton thing. Its anger seems to channel through it, and you see this large amount of electricity start flowing around the whole thing. As it starts lifting it up and pointing it at you almost like a wand, but you are flying around and zipping around it after causing it some pain and discomfort. The electricity that it's emanating, though, is scaring the people underneath, and some of them are starting to disperse as Mound is taking the opportunity to start moving them away. Lucid, you're clearly next. What are you working on in the background with trying to get the Mound to do? You told them that you want them to mobilize.
And you get all the cameras and all that sort of thing.
Okay.
So I think I want to use the one.
Okay.
And
Go
buy
for it.
that.
oh yeah, excited.
So I give them the orders. Get these people out of here. You're going to come back with your weapons. You're going to get all the cameras. You're going to broadcast. I'm going. Slekton, Lucky, whatever you're calling yourself now. I've got something for you, too. Let's go. And I jump out, and I start running down, like, get these people out of here. And the giant robot comes down and starts, like, trying to stomp on them. But, like, I'm shoving them out of the way because I'm deceptively fast and all that. And David, and my personal assistant for the first time, kicks on, yes, sir, what can I do? And it sounds like David Attenborough because BBC Earth is life. And access the Mound orbital armory. Drop the panda suit. And I'm diving around, rolling, and like we cut to orbit where we see like this giant satellite open up one of its cargo doors and just shoots down this pod. It comes flying down and lands like right in front of Lucky, and it opens up and it's this giant panda mecha. And on the bottom, the plasma armaments and nano defensive augmentation suit, the panda suit.
Okay.
Nice. You came up with the acronym.
You get in that, you can fight. I'll keep everybody else safe. We've got a chance here.
Do you think,
Go.
I believe that would be targeting the mind as you're kind of outsmarting the situation. But what do you think?
I think it'd be mind or spirit. Either one would work, I think.
Okay.
Because all of a sudden it's had all this control for so long. Maybe spirit, and all of a sudden they're fighting back after however many years of submission.
Okay. Do you want to remove giant, stunning, or add any tags?
I think with the giant panda suit, that would negate giant.
Okay.
So.
And okay, putting you right into situation. So this is all kind of going on simultaneous, right? You can kind of hear like basically like helicopters that are helicopters that are moving in the distance. As Mound is basically like I want to say weaponizing, but arming basically the citizens and such to try to help the reporters to get better footage. Obviously, this is a very dangerous situation, but they're trying to move in crews as fast as possible to get the national sort of notoriety it needs.
I have a quick question, though. B. When you buy the one, does that do 4 points of damage? Wouldn't that be equivalent to a crit?
No, the one is he doesn't have to roll for double successes. He just tells me what happens, and it's just double.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
By narrating it, though, you can potentially add more to the scene than you would have just by rolling normally, like I did with the panda mech and everything else.
I've never seen the one you. So.
It took 2 points of damage.
And it says you narrate the scene, I'm taking advantage of it.
Yes, of course. The benefit is that even if you did a crit, it would just be right now. But next turn and the turn after and the turn after that, he still just keeps saying.
It builds. Oh, okay.
For the rest of this challenge, this scene, he just has straight double successes without rolls.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I was wondering how it worked. I never seen the one.
Yeah, right.
This is my first time
seeing it. It's meant to be that point of like you basically shut down the game master's ability to just tell you no if it's the scene that you were building towards.
Gotcha.
So, within reason, right? I mean, to some degree,
Right.
but it's like I'm not going to screw you by rolls. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
Okay. With that, Sir Slekton, this panda suit lands out of orbit as this like pod hits the ground like a giant egg, and around it, like this outer shell kind of crumbles, and then like some kind of like transformer, like limbs start popping out and pushing out and opening up into this mechanized panda.
I threw a picture in the chat that I found that I thought would be fitting.
Another one?
Yeah.
A backward, like a sort of a walkway ramp opens from behind for you to walk up into it.
Sir Slekton, you going in that thing?
Of course I'm going in that thing.
Why are there so many pictures of Panda Max?
China.
That first one's actually a statue in China, apparently.
Uh-huh.
Sir Slekton, with the mechanized panda suit, what would you like to do?
Do I have any idea of how to control this thing?
You're probably gonna have to roll.
What I like about that is I didn't think of that as a problem until you said it. So it sounds like if you could figure it out, you could do something with it. So what strategy would help you figure out how to use this thing?
Sort of the inverse of mocking repetition. I think I would try to move and get it to repeat what
Can we help him as a player?
Of course.
Dude, just sword play. No one said the mech didn't come with a sword. There's a sword icon in the cockpit. You hit that. And then you wield like a saber. You know?
Alright.
It was
It like
built for
tracks your movements, like.
Okay, I'm going to assume that there are like 4 big buttons inside the mech. And one is like a giant machine gun, and one
this
is
is
like
a toddler playset now. You got inside.
one just, and I'm just going to see the sword, and I'm going to push the button.
I mean, if you're building what's effectively a doomsday mecha, you want it to be foolproof for the pilot.
Yeah, it's just like, don't fuck this up. You can't fuck this up.
There's
Hey.
only 4 buttons.
Hey, Sir Slekton can fuck up anything.
I like how you take pride in that.
I love that. That would be a great tag, but unfortunately, it's not perfect for Sir Slekton. Foolproof. Okay. Sir Slekton, give pressing the sword button. It seems a lot easier to understand. Though this isn't a reasonable use of swordplay for you. It's an imaginative use. So give us a roll.
That sounds fair.
Wait.
Oh my!
I just pushed the button.
Wow, even I can do this.
That was great. In my head, I imagine like that sort of Iron Man shot that you see in all the Avengers movies where he's like in the suit, right? And you're like, even I can do this. Okay. 2 successes. It, of course, sees the panda mecha. You jump into the panda mecha. How big is the panda mecha?
I mean, I'm thinking it's fairly comparable. I mean, I'm okay with it not being the same size,
Sure.
but not so much where it's just like a pushover forward
Right?
either.
So instead of 30, we'll make you like 25 feet, right? So just enough that you look like the little kid on the playground. Right? You pull out this glowing sword, right? Identical to yours. That maybe like a. Why don't you tell me how it emerges from your hand and what it looks like?
I like draw it from the scabbard, but there isn't actually a scabbard there, and when I draw it, there's nothing in my hand, and then it just sort of materializes.
Okay, great. I can imagine Jack staring and be like, oh no, he's an idiot. And then it goes, you know. Cool. Now, of course, it is throwing this stunning electricity all over the place as it's trying to chase Eriyou. It's kind of enraged as it's not used to dealing with this sort of competition, right? This struggle. and you've all caught it off guard, especially like the panda mecha. Like it's never even seen anything like that. So as soon as you start going towards it, you become its prime target. So re-roll your successes, or
And
buy your way
also,
through.
Pete.
Reroll sounds better. There's a way higher chance for critical failure, which seems like it would be pretty.
Oh,
Okay,
I
one
still got
success. Any tags?
he's got 2.
No, that's
Yeah,
two.
that's 2.
Oh, my bad. Thought it was a 9.
Yeah.
Okay. What happens as you have this glowing sword? The stun baton comes down, hits the ground underneath you, but doesn't hit you. As it lifts up, you feel the charge coming off of it, and it's this very powerful charge that you feel like could probably even like maybe disable this robot body, like deactivate it. But it just can't quite hit you with the charge in any meaningful way. As Eriyou's flying overhead, and you're kind of running right at it. It shouldn't be hard to... It just... Dumb luck.
Better be lucky than good. I don't.
What do you do to it with this glowing sword?
I feel like I'm not smart enough to cut away the weapon, so I'm just gonna kind of like parry it out of the way and stab directly into the gut. And
Okay.
Thank you for that, guys.
Can you say that one more time? See, you're too stupid for that. So you did what? You just...
so instead of like actually like disabling the weapon or anything like that, like I'm going for the kill shot.
Sure.
Just like right into its torso, let's say.
I was going to say, you know, in my head, what I imagine is that, like, you have the sword at your side, and you're this amazing swordsman, and you just kept running till you ran into it, and the sword just poked it through. You know, like everyone's watching, like, oh my god, look at him, look what he's going to do. And, like, just thud swords inside of it, you know, like it's... Okay, so with the weapon attack, it hurts the body for 2 more points. Do you do anything to the stunning, or do you want to add a tag?
I will add skewered.
Okay.
Nice.
By adding skewered, what do you think has happened to make it skewered or something skewered?
I'm going to assume that there's just a giant glowing sword that's stuck in its body at this point, which is going to limit its mobility a little bit, but may do some internal damage to it as well.
Okay.
Is it
Jack,
bleeding?
all of these things are going on around you. You've seen a panda mecha. You see Herbert running around and intelligently using the resources around and available to him. You see Eriyou fly straight at the head of this giant monstrosity, and with an ego even larger than himself, seem to like manhandle it from above. What do you do now that your asthma is just, the adrenaline is kicked in? Your asthma is no longer affecting you, at least momentarily.
I'm really glad the sword wasn't disabled, because this entire time I've had a plan to short circuit out the baton.
Okay. How do you want to do that?
Well, one of my belongings, the other belonging that never came to life, was I had a pet fish. And I assume now that we're in this animal world, this fish has become, like, sort of sentient and is now, like, at least slightly, like, humanoid. But I assume it's still, like, pretty small, like a foot tall, or say. And I want to, like, grab, like, the creature in my talons, fly in, and deposit the fish inside of the robot. So it can go in, and it's, like, because it's, like, all wet and stuff, with its fish tank. And, like, pour water all over the circuits and stuff of the inside of this creature, and completely short-circuit it out.
All right. That could be against the mind or the body. What do you prefer?
Let's go with body.
Okay. Give me a roll. What strategy would help you?
Wait, before you roll, you can always buy your success.
I know, I might just buy a critical success.
You should go for it, right? This is the time. It's the end.
Wait, hold on. How much body is left?
3. You'd
Okay,
kill
crit. Buying a crit.
Okay. So tell us how this defeats the id.
Okay, so like I said, I scoop up this fish in my talons, I fly in, because we're both, like, small creatures. And I assume there's, like, holes and stuff torn in its head from, like, the hair being ripped out. It's skewered through the middle. And so we fly inside of this creature, and it's just like it's like the Star Wars action scene, like going through like that cave or whatever. It's like flying in between bits of like robots, like wires and cross beams and circuit boards, and it's going through. And then the fish, it's fishbowl, like there's water sloshing everywhere, landing on circuits, like connecting wires and stuff. And as it goes through, like things are like, not only are things getting disturbed by the flying, but the water is causing things to connect that shouldn't be connecting. And there's just like a buzz of electricity in the air.
Okay.
And
Sir Slekton, do you say or do anything as everything starts getting electrocharged and electrocuted? And you're pretty sure she just sacrificed some fish guy to like the robot god that's in front of you?
So I'm assuming in this case you're saying that I saw all of this happen.
Either that, or maybe you. I mean, you could actually just be straight up still staring at the body where you cut it. I mean, you could. That would make
I thought that the sword was a kill shot, and I'm just posing in victory right now.
Perfect. Eriyou, you were flying above. You see her fly, taking advantage of the situation, and perfectly descend and drop this fish, which
Fish bomb.
You kind of don't even. You saw like this bowl as she was flying through the air, and it was really big. And it almost didn't make sense how she was carrying it through the air, and she flipped it and dropped it inside. And the last thing you'd imagine was actually that it would just kind of like electrocute this machine from the inside. What do you do?
I got an idea, Pete. If you allow it, as that's happening, like one of the sparks that comes through the fish bowl and the fish itself. That's the familiar thing that gave me hope. Glitch.
As you see the glitch throughout its body, right?
Yeah.
Herbert, this is your milestone to revitalize nature. So, what scene do you want to see from this? Do you want to do something else here, or do you want to skip to your father, or what do you think the next scene should be?
I'm thinking it would, like with all the camera crews there now, basically broadcasting like a direct message to the amount of you've got resistance now. We just took down one of these. This won't be the last one we stop if you don't come out, and you don't need to do this anymore because I'm here, Dad.
Father.
So I very much see this like we have the end of this milestone, this session, this campaign, very similar to like the Matrix first movie, where at the end it was almost like the calling out of everything else that was still out there, of saying we're here now and you can no longer torment and oppress us. But it's not about what I want or what I think, it's about what you guys want. So to find the cure to ignorance, think for a second about epiloguing. What does that mean? What's the nature we're revitalizing? Basically, I'm going to do one round of final thoughts, right? Maybe you say what happens to your character. Maybe you say what you think the ignorance was. Maybe you say which world we saved. One of the thoughts that came out of the vision rolls before, I was kind of leading towards it, is the doctor went crazy, and he felt that the only way he could save his son was by saving his son's world, but he forgot that he's in that world. So he was basically going to rip out the life of this world to reinvigorate the other, which goes a lot with what we were talking about with Lucid about kind of healing the world by pulling energy out of these coffin worlds. But
Right.
That's just to give you guys some ideas. So anybody got something? What do you think happens from this? What is the next logical thing that happens in the story you want to see happen?
I actually,
what?
really quick, I had something that I wanted to happen in that fight. I mean, obviously the robot's dead now, but I was hoping like when my character, because my character had to like fly into the thing with the fish, I was actually gonna have that be, if I'm able to, that to be sort of like a like type of suicide type thing. Like I flew into it to blow it up, but as a result, because my character was inside of it, and like with the amount of electricity and stuff like that,
You are the machine.
Oh, if we're still narrating that kind of stuff, then I would assume she was gonna come out, and then when I realized she's not, or he's not,
Yeah.
and he's still my patsy in my mind, right? It's like, no, I need him, and I start like digging through the machine trying to like find him. But
Okay.
I'll probably come up against fried chicken instead. But
Oh no! Oh no! Horrible reference. Slekton, what do you think? Either what happens with this scene or what happens in the next scene, like in more of the epilogue. Do we find her? Do we not? And does that spark something?
I got nothing yet. Give me a minute. I'm assuming, Morgan, if you want this to be like a blaze of glory kind of end, that we're not necessarily going to find anything recognizable.
No.
the badge, we find a badge.
It's just smoking slightly.
Oh, no. Okay. Moving it right along, then we'll say that that's also caught on footage. It's like the sacrifice that was given. And that Slekton, eventually you realize that Eriyou is frantically trying to dig through this robot body to find something, and you realize it's not through the hole that you cut. So you decide to follow along and help him, not even realizing what you're looking for. And the smoking badge comes out, which of course the camera feeds pick up and look. And this becomes another rallying cry that, like, no one knows who Jack was. Nobody knows the character name of who this person was in this world. You guys can talk about Jack, but Jack didn't exist. So that actually adds more to the story of, like, this anonymous character that, like, gave their life for people that no one actually will ever know who that is. The Doctor will reveal himself, because the Doctor will remember Herbert when he sees him. And the Doctor didn't mean to do any harm. The Doctor just meant to save his son. But all of the logic in his head was just effed up. So, Herbert, where would you meet your dad? Because you would definitely be able to tell him where to find you or where to meet you. Or would he just come up to, like, the mound office and just walk up the steps, like some kind of City Hall-esque place, and just kind of turn himself in?
Well, they said they knew where the compound was, so I would have imagined we would have gone to check that out.
Okay.
Or at least I would have after that. And if I wasn't attacked on sight by whatever forces he had, then would assume either he saw or he just wasn't there.
Imagine a compound, like, something like you'd find in, like, Area 50, is it 52? God, I'm so bad.
51, I think.
51.
Thanks. Like, so it's Area 52, and it's just this large, sort of like Pentagon, like flat, like maybe 2-story building, and it's surrounded by like a dozen of these giant robot figures that stand around it like the numbers on a clock, and they do nothing to harm you or injure you or even threaten you as you approach. And you were allowed to basically walk in between them up into the compound. Of course, there's some kind of message that's given to you that says, you were free to come in. You were my son. This is all for you after all. When you finally confront the Doctor, what would you say to him? What would he say to you, do you think?
I don't really know what he would say, but
it'd be along those lines. I thought I lost you. I thought the only way I could find you again was to save the real world. All these people don't understand. This isn't the real world. This is just a fun world, a kid's world, a fantasy. But we need what they have here to fix our real world, the world you live in. But you can tell that his meaning is actually kind of backwards, because this was like your world. And it's obviously, he's got this helmet that's almost like kind of, it just stuck on his head, but it's like melded into his head. But you also kind of get the gist that it probably really isn't. It's just that he imagines it is. So it looks like he's just got this enlarged brain head, like mushroom head, that's the helmet.
I'd try to take it off though, and seeing if it worked or not.
And it works.
And seeing that, like, we're home. Now you got to rebuild this place.
Is he also a hippo?
No. He should be, right? That'd be great. Maybe when you take the helmet off and he comes to his senses, he wants to be just like you, right? So he turns into a hippo version of himself.
I'm used to seeing him as like a shark. So I'm like, I don't know if I like this one, but I'll get used to it.
So we can see where that would go. So what happens to Sir Slekton? What happens to... is there anything done for Jack? Like in the finale, like is there like in memory? Do you get some like statue that's like the mysterious savior character or something? And what happens to Eriyou?
That's entirely up to the other characters.
Okay.
I like to think that there's the giant panda mecha holding the longsword with its point down in the ground and like a sticky note on its chest that says "In loving memory of Jack."
I like it too. Post a note.
Eriyou, you have anything in finale? I mean, that's pretty epic.
I feel like the finale, like the whole, our dream was to find a cure to ignorance,
Mm-hmm.
and I think the ignorance was, the fact that we could have fought back. I think people were just so ignorant to the fact, like, not even to try, to resist even a little. I don't know. I feel like maybe that's what it would be for me.
That sounds great.
There's one thing like that I've sort of been thinking throughout this entire theme of all three of these worlds we've been through, is that in each of them, sort of like Sat was saying, nobody really resists. Everybody's just sort of in their role and they keep going on. Like in the first world, everything was controlled by the enforcers and people were scared of them, and so they just did whatever they said. Like, stayed completely with the enforcers, and then we ended up fighting an enforcer. And then we worked through in the next world, which had the cops and everything, and they were being led by this guy they were putting people into what they called the coffin. And
They were like enforcers too, though. Like the cops were, which is kind of like eerie, yeah?
Yeah.
Like it was just
Yeah.
layer after layer after layer of enforcers.
but it was sort of like these criminals, they had nothing more to them. Like that was all they were. There was nothing beyond that. Like when they were faced with like the whole situation, they all started shooting each other. Like there was no more thought to that besides a gunfight. And then in this world, like with the father and his sort of like mistake in this way, that's sort of how I see the ignorance being solved, is the idea of everyone, like sort of like what that tag was, like complacency.
Yeah, what was our tag?
That's
Is because this entire fight, led by Sout, was for freedom, was for something different, was for change. But like with complacency, everybody is happy in their own world, in their own role, and nobody sort of questions that.
Wasn't our world tag delusions, though?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
curious.
I assumed that went away when we were all of a sudden in a new world.
That's true. It's true. All right.
Well, I don't want to muddy up what Jack said, because I think that's
Oh, that was
beautiful.
awesome. I liked it.
Not to mention, right, home is where the heart is. So, like, you all kind of moved through worlds, but maybe it didn't matter which world you were in. So, what happens to Sissy, right? We didn't say what... I didn't tell you. I think Sissy knows who Jack is, right? So maybe Sissy would find wherever Jack's memorial would be, which maybe is the panda statue with the sticky note, and would say your real name and be like, I know who you were, and I remember what you did. Whether it's feeding you sacrificed your goldfish. Okay, we are done for our session, but last but not least, we need gratitude. So what was your favorite moment another player character gave you this meeting?
I'm just going to give it to everybody for just the entire hole poking scene. Her for shooting him for being so annoyed by it, him for getting everybody else to go and poke it. Like just that whole scene. Everybody.
There was a quote, "I slapped Sir Slekton's hand out of my hole." That was...
You even got Morgan to laugh just as hard as she did the first time.
I like the self-sacrifice. Like I don't know. Like I just thought that was like not fitting, but like I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
But it was just like, oh wow, it's going that way. Like okay. But I kind of actually like that a lot because it's like it makes it seem more like a movie. Like that would totally happen in a movie.
And Jack didn't have didn't have a home to go back to, right? Like
exactly.
The home she would have gone back to would have been like hell for her or him. Sorry, like
yeah.
I mean, think about how he would have been implicated. Like he would have like charged with everything that went wrong there.
So I was preventing for another world for that to happen to the people of this world.
Yeah. Is that everybody? All right. So
Actually, did you do gratitude, Morgan?
No, I did not.
Thank you.
That's all. Yeah, we got one more.
To be honest, there's very little specific I could pick.
Yeah.
Like, there was so many great moments throughout this. I loved Lucid's The One, though. That was brilliant. I loved listening to that.
Yeah, I love how he ran with it, right? He just kind of was like, bam, 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 this is the plan, and then not to mention, the orbital space station sends the pandemic. All right, gang, well, thank you so much. We finished our campaign of Find the Cure to Ignorance. We are off next week as I am observing Origins Game Fair, and we return the week after for the next campaign. So, thank you all who played and all who have watched, and I hope you really enjoyed this. Any final words?
Yeah, real quick. If anybody was wondering, MOUND stood for Morphogenetic Operatives United for Nature's Defense.
One more time, but slower.
Morphogenetic Operatives United for Nature's Defense.
I felt like Sir Slekton when you said it the first time. I was like, what was that?
I was so hoping nobody asked me what it meant, so I'm so glad you're ready for it.
Oh, yeah. No, I like the fact that you had so many acronyms on the fly. You had one for the panda suit, because there's no way you knew.
What was the acronym for the panda suit?
The panda suit, yeah. While I was planning that one, while y'all were taking y'all's turn, I came up with the acronym for it. It was a Plasma Armaments and Nano-Defensive Augmentation Suit. The acronym for MOUND.
That is brilliant.
Last week I sent it to Pete and everything saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do if we're going to this world.
I do believe that is my new favorite term for anything. Okay, well with that, we will leave Twitch. See you in a couple weeks.
Bye.
Nice.
Bye.
Thanks again.